Well, over the last year and a half about, you've seen most of my videos take place in this room right here. And last video I kind of hinted at something kind of big for me in my journey. And yeah, basically I'm going all the way across the world to a country called Kazakhstan, where I will be, I don't know, when I get too stagnant, when my environment stays the same for too long, I start to deteriorate in every sense of existence. I spent the last 6 months really arguing with myself as to why I was feeling the way I was feeling, as if it wasn't so clear. I found myself in the hands of stagnation, which is something that I talk about a lot in my videos. Stagnation is evil, man. And it plays tricks on you and it manipulates you and it makes you think that the problem is something out of your hands. But it's not, in reality. And so I made the decision to just go ahead. I booked a one-way flight across the world. I'm taking my camera, my light, some clothes, and that's it. And I'm gonna continue to make videos and do what I do and just get lost in my vision. I wanna be immersed in the process, just fully. I have no idea what the next 2 weeks are gonna look like for me, which is why I love it. So yeah, maybe in the next clip I'll be in Kazakhstan, because I'm not a fan of like filming and vlogging in airports and stuff. It's just, I hate airports. Anyways, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I just got out of the shower, getting some editing done for some of the footage that I already have for the video. Anyways, this is it, man. I really urge you guys, if you're in a spot where you are feeling stagnant or you're not moving anywhere, to just go, man, just go. Because you do figure it out, and you know that, like you always do. God created us all to be capable, to prosper. We all have that capability, and so it's not a matter of capability. It has always been a matter of will. Don't allow the illusion of fear to sway you away from what you are destined to do, to bring into fruition, to change in the world. But the bottom line is, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have your own back. Because if you don't, then you rebel against this purity, this boundlessness, this pure essence that God created you as. And that is the essence that is capable of bringing into fruition to this reality what you envision, what you feel, what you long for. There's always a next step. There's always something in front of you that you can do. But if you bother yourself with all the worries and doubts and uncertainty, and you allow that to prevent you from taking that step or taking the small action that you can, you'll just remain in this cycle of worry and settlement for what is less than what you're capable of. And that, if you're anything like me, is my worst fear. It's like absolute, like not an option. It's fine to stay there for a little bit. We're human. We don't always recognize exactly where we're at in the moment. If we were, then we'd be perfect. But at a point, you just have to pull the trigger, And it's not going to feel right. That's the whole point. It's the illusion. It's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel safe. It's not going to feel doable. That sense of fear that you feel when you are faced with the decision to take that leap is what separates those who really transcend toward their vision, their calling, their purpose, and those who don't. That is the difference. It's not a matter of capability. We're all capable because we're all of God. We're all from God. We're all created in His nature. And so it's not a question of capability. It's a question of will. Will you make the decision when you take the leap? These award-winning movies that are timeless, that will be remembered forever because they're so moving. They make you feel every type of emotion, and that's what I want.
You started making videos and posting in this whole journey. Did you ever think of this, that it will get you here and who you are today? Mm-hmm. You will, in 5 years, you'll staying here in front of people from Kazakhstan. Or it was just that you were involved in the process and you were just enjoying everything you do? Or did you see the goal somewhere?
If I'm being completely honest, yes. I would be in my room listening to music with my headphones on and just imagine traveling the world, making videos, speaking on a stage, sharing my thoughts, making friends, having new experiences. And it filled me with such a excitement for life, even though the life around me that I was experiencing at the time was not even remotely close to that. But, I mean, you gotta, why not believe in yourself? Very big day for me, so you all contributed to it, so I appreciate you guys more than I can express. I wish you all luck in your individual journeys in pursuing what it is you're pursuing, bringing into fruition what you want to bring into this world, be the change that you want to see in the world, be more forgiving of yourself, like I said, understand who you are, be patient, the blessings will come, and it's all about the journey, be accepting of the ups and downs, and that's what it's all about, man. Just continue rolling with the flow, continue to be immersed and in love with the journey, and there's not much more you can ask out of life. Everything, if you live that way, will come to you. All the blessings that you wish for. So, thank you guys. Wish we had some music. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, of course. I want to explain exactly what the process I wish to immerse myself within is. What is my vision? What am I bringing into fruition into the world? Because I haven't really been all that clear about it, and I want to get really specific, because up until now, pretty much all my content has been about general personal development. It's motivational content with a philosophical kind of touch to it, and that's all great. But the reality is that I have an absolute obsession with liminal spaces, liminality in general, hence why I made this. This is the Liminal Group clothing brand, which I had made a few years ago. It's why I've made the Liminal Group community on Discord, which I've grown to over 10,000 members, 12,000 members. It's why my mentorship program is called the Liminal Program. Liminality is the center point of my life. It has become the lens through which I see everything. And I want to be honest about how much I truly care about this. My work is pivoting. The title of this video is It's Time to Enter a New Chapter. And for me, that chapter is diving deeper into liminality and having my work, my videos revolve around it. But it's a bit of a vague statement by itself. Like, what do you mean by liminality? What is that? And how exactly do you dive deeper into it? Well, I've made a video on this before. It's titled The Obscure Obsession That Led to the Transformation of My Identity, or something like that. And it's about my obsession with liminal spaces. In the video, I talk about how I first came into contact with liminal spaces back in 2020 or 2019, when the backrooms and liminal spaces and the that like Let Go sound by Arc Patrol was like the #1 sound on TikTok. Back during COVID days, this was really popular. And these images, these videos made me feel a way that I'd never felt before. And it really intrigued me, especially the fact that millions of people across the world also share this experience, this like weird, obscure feeling that they got from these weird kind of images. There's not a whole lot to them. In fact, that's their nature, is that they're kind of isolated, they're kind of empty and desolate. And so I explored them further. I went as far as writing my college research paper on liminal spaces and our deeper psychological connection to them. All day I'd listen to liminal space playlists and just imagine in my mind roaming through the halls of liminal spaces and what it would feel like to be there, to be immersed within that environment. And it just put me into a state of stillness and alignment that, again, I'd never felt before. It felt like I was returning to something very familiar, which is a common trait that people, or feeling that people experience as well, nostalgia. And the more I understood liminality as a general concept, rather than just pictures on Pinterest, I started to see how I could apply this view, this idea, this concept to my life in general. I began to see everything through this lens of liminality, because at the end of the day, liminality is the in-between. It's a transitional phase. It's a point between two thresholds. And that's life. That is everything. That is moving from point A to point B. And as long as we're in a state of transition, of movement, of the in-between, then we are living. It is only when we become stagnant that we really die, that we refuse to live the experience of human life in its purest form. And I really fell in love with this idea. And it completely transformed my identity. It really did. It furthered my progress as a person, as an individual, like I'd never experienced before. I started to feel more aligned with who I truly was. I started to improve myself at a rate that I was never able to do prior. And it's because I had a foundation. It's because I had something to build on. And so I started to dive deeper and deeper, and I started to experiment. And I found this book called Liminal Dreaming. It was the only book that I could find on liminality. I would have read them all if they existed, but again, this concept was so obscure. It's becoming more popular now, You see these movies coming out, the Backrooms movie. You see on these YouTube playlists of liminal space music, thousands and thousands and thousands of comments from people all around the world with a similar experience of imagining themselves in this alternate reality, and how still and grounded and aligned it makes them feel. Them expressing their desire to be in these spaces, to roam the halls, to explore these familiar yet unexplored environments. You see dozens of video games coming out every single year related to liminal spaces or Dreamcore or the Backrooms. It's becoming more and more popular in culture, so it's more of a familiar idea now than it was then, but this was, again, the only book that I could find at the time. And so I read it, this book called Liminal Dreaming. And it introduced to me an idea that there's a state between reality and a dream state where you can consciously reach. And it's a state in which you experience complete silence internally, and it kind of allows you to use this mental state, this state of being, as a tool to work on your internal self, your identity, to see things clearer, to transport yourself into some sort of alternate reality. It's kind of like, what do they call it? Astral projection. It kind of reminded me of that. And so I tried this for myself for the first time. There was definitely more of a spiritual essence to this method that was being taught in this book. But I wanted to develop something more practical, something that I could do on a daily basis that others could replicate. That seemed like a method that was more grounded in reality than some sort of distant dreamland or something like that. And so I had remembered a Good Mythical Morning episode, actually, that I watched when I was maybe 13 or 14 years old. And it was about sensory deprivation tanks, and they were experimenting with them. And how they said that it made them feel always stuck with me. I remember how they were before entering the sensory deprivation tank. Their character, their demeanor, their energy, and it was very sporadic, very excited, very giddy, very curious. And when they exited, their whole energy shifted. It was very calm and grounded, and their voices got quieter, and they spoke slower. And for whatever reason, that transformation really always, I have a visual imprint of it in my mind. You know, you kind of have these like photographic memories that just stick with you for whatever reason. And I remembered that. And I kind of drew a connection between sensory deprivation and this liminal dreaming book that I had read, because the methods, the way in which you go about reaching a liminal dreaming state seemed very similar. And so I kind of combined the two in a way where I would enter the shower in complete darkness, and I play on this music to drown out the noise, because I live in an area where there's a lot of ambient sound. And it's not even music, it's just frequency. It's just a resonance of sound that is very grounding. And so I couldn't see anything. I'm in the pitch black, and all I can feel is the steam from the hot shower and this grounding sound that felt like it resonated with me at such a level that it kind of stilled my mind. And every day I would enter this kind of environment, and the more I did it, the more still I found myself feeling. The more in touch I began to feel with myself, which I didn't up until this point really know what myself felt like. And this was a really transitional period for me, because I had always thought of my identity as something that I had to discover out in the quote real world, something that I would eventually find through external experiences. But in reality, I just needed to remove the noise and the distractions enough so that I could feel my identity, because identity is an energy. It's not one singular thing, it's an experience, it's a feeling, it's a vibe, if you want to call it that. It's obviously a popular term, but there's real like science to that. It's a vibration, it's all energy. These are all terminologies relating to frequency and harmony and energy and resonance. And that really completely shifted my view of myself and the world around me, and how I chose to navigate my life. And so my obsession with liminal spaces and liminality in general just continued to grow and grow. Every single second of the day, I was completely immersed in some sort of vision in a liminal space. My ears were flooded with liminal space music from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. I would even fall asleep listening to liminal space music. I'd read any type of articles or research or books that I could read on liminality, even though there were very few. I even started my own business, the Liminal Group clothing brand, because I thought I really want to make this the center point of my life. I don't want to do anything else in life, but this, if it has something to do with liminality, that's what I want to create. That's what I want my life to be revolved around. But one thought, one feeling that I could not shake was how much I wanted to be in these environments. I longed every second of the day to just be there. I'd browse these pictures and videos on Pinterest of liminal spaces, and I would just stare at them for hours. I literally had time set aside in my calendar every night to listen to this music and browse these images because it made me feel like I was there. And all I could think was how much I wish something like that really existed. And of course, I didn't have the means to make that a reality at the time. And so what I did, my solution was I would go to abandoned buildings, office buildings that kind of resembled something like the back rooms or any type of liminal space, empty parking garages, anything that I could think of that would give a similar feeling. I'd go there alone. And I'd just bring my headphones and I would just sit there. And I would soak within that environment. And that kind of satisfied that desire. But the dream never faded. And that's what my vision is now. That's my process. My goal, my obsession, what I'm dedicating my life to at the moment is bringing into reality a real life liminal space that I and others can experience, with the intention for people to experience a deeper sense of identity, internal alignment, and resonation with themselves and the environment that they sit within. Every aspect of your environment counts for something. It all gives off an energy. And the point is for all of those elements and the energy that they give, the vibe that they have, to completely align with your internal self, your identity. And the details matter. Everything from color, sound, frequency, temperature, humidity, texture, anything that makes up your sensory experience of an environment, it matters. And I really truly believe, even though it's an unexplored area, that if I were to be able to create a real life liminal space that one could experience for an extended period of time and just completely be isolated and immersed within this environment, and there was a complete alignment present between the environment and their internal self, that would be an extremely significant experience. So my work, my videos, my intention from now on is for liminality to be the central point of it in some way, shape, or form. I'll still give, of course, general motivational talks around personal development, because at the end of the day, that is exactly what this is. You know, you're watching somebody pursue their vision, even though it's a little bit outlandish and obscure, and it's a rather unexplored area, just completely embracing the uncertainty and diving deeper into what they love. So that's ultimately why I'm here. I'm chasing that vision, and hopefully through my work, I can inspire some of you to perhaps be invested in my vision as well, but more importantly, be invested in your own vision for what you love and what you find an interest for. It's something that you really care about. Even though I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it or how it's going to go or how fast it's going to happen, I'm not really concerned with that. I'm just concerned with being completely in love and immersed in the process.